Hey everyone, you're watching Ash on Comics. My name's Ash, and here's my iPad. What do we have here today? This is where I wish I could be not tongue-tied. This is where I wish I could cue in the cool intro music like Ethan's got the start of the gangster shit. He's got his channel down tight. You gotta admire what he's doing. In style, even if you don't appreciate the substance. Alright, so what am I doing here? I'm making a video, another commentary. I don't know if I've ever done this before. I can't recall. Maybe I have. My memory is getting bad. I don't know if I've ever done a commentary on an individual person. It's not really in my nature to do this. I mean, I'll do it on Twitter. I'll call people out and stuff, but make a video. I haven't done that before. So this is kind of new for me. It's completely unscripted. And before you tune out right there, bear with me. Let me experiment on something. I want to be off the cuff. I don't want to write down everything and have it just be all wooden. I just want to have my train of thought. It's a good exercise for me in making my videos and streaming that conscious. And then also getting my views out there. Because this is the sort of stuff that just... Twitter is bad for getting complex thoughts out, right? Some people do the whole live stream thing. That has its place, and there's good times for that. But sometimes if you get on a live stream, I'm talking about the group live streams, you run the risk of things being too slanted. Like when I went on EVS's live stream, that stream was just full of his fans. So... they're predisposed to, at the very least, be skeptical of anything I say, and at the worst, just be downright biased and hateful of anything I say. So that can be a problem. I don't want to say that word. That can be a challenge. I'm going to try not to do that. Man, I really should just sit there and talk to myself for 15 minutes where I make a video. Because every time I start to do one of these, I start talking and it's like, oh... all that fluid in your lungs decides to get disturbed. Sorry for grossing anyone out. Alright, so here I am looking at Mindy Wheeler's art. Looking at Mindy Wheeler. This is not going to be a hate video or rant. Well, maybe a little bit of a rant. I don't know if Mindy is going to see this, but I'm going to talk as if she is seeing it. And if she doesn't, then she'll never know. Mindy, I like what you're doing. I support you in your work. I think you're a good person, and I don't want to say anything mean to you or anything like that. It's not my intention. But I do have some critical things to say about what you've been doing. And it's not personal, and it's not in any way meant to hurt you. I really do, like I said, I'm sincere that I think you're a good person and you want to do good things, but I think you got caught up in the storm and you got yourself mixed up in things and it just snowballed and got out of control and now here we are. So, Mindy Wheeler is leaving Comicsgate. Number one, you can't leave Comicsgate, okay? We're not a group. There's no membership. You didn't sign up for anything. There's no leaders. There's no indoor or outdoor. Comicsgate is an idea. You either ascribe yourself to that idea or you don't. It's as simple as that. Now, you are an aspiring comic book pro. That's great. More power to you. Much success. I'm looking forward to seeing how Karma turns out. I hope it's lives up to your dreams. I mean that. But the problem I think that I'm seeing here is that when you came over and in your mind joined Comicsgate, what you did is try to join this closed, I don't want to say closed, this circle, inner circle I guess maybe, of Comicsgate professionals that Ethan is maybe not the leader of, but he's definitely the one everyone rallies around. These guys support Comicsgate. And I got on his show, and I don't know if you listened to the show that I was on. I was trying to tell Ethan, like, I don't think you guys should be identifying yourself as Comicsgate. Like, I don't think you should separate from Comicsgate. Support Comicsgate like the rest of us. But identify your professional selves as something different and beyond Comicsgate. Right? Comicsgate has been and always needs to be a consumer movement. It's because it's about how the publishers and the professionals have treated customers. Now, professionals are customers too, and so therefore have every right and expectation to support Comicsgate and that idea. But to call themselves Comicsgate is a little bit, it's crossing the streams, right? And Ghostbusters always told us, never cross the streams. It's a conflict of interest. I tried to get this to point over in Ethan's show. The scope of that show wasn't big enough. We weren't really having a debate anyway. That was never the intention. So I hope to talk with Ethan further about this at some point in the future. And hopefully he's been mulling things over in his mind. But you, I think, came on board with the wrong expectations. I think you came on board, like a lot of these pros, and we're like, yeah, I think those ideas, those cats over at Comicsgate got the right idea, and I'm aspiring to do some comics, and so I'm going to, pitch my stuff to that crowd, which I most closely identify with. Nothing wrong with that. But you jumped in hard and fast, all right? I saw some posts that you made with Ethan. All right, here we go. So here's a tweet that I found. Took me a little while to find it here. That you talk about Ethan. You quote Ethan. It says, person inboxing me assistant at Comicsgate wants to come on the channel to promote themselves. Let them on once, nothing really comes of it. They spam your inbox with demands for your attention and help launch CG app. What the fuck? Ignore. So, yeah, I mean, this without context or anything can come off really kind of cold and so forth. Then you respond, hey, Ethan, you're referring to me? Getting rich off CG is not my plans. My husband doesn't need anyone money. Okay, that's great. That's fantastic. You don't need money. I don't see what this is all about, though. Okay, so I've been in Comicsgate longer than Ethan. I barely got on his show like a week or two ago for the first time. You came on, got on his show instantly. Ethan gave you attention right away, where I've been around forever. Guys never batted an eyelash at me. Now, I don't necessarily care, other than the fact that I need to make this point, because it seems like a big deal to you. Ethan is a big name in comics. He's even a bigger name in Comicsgate. He's even a bigger name in Comicsgate Comics. He's got, a channel that's got, he's getting close to 100,000 followers now. He's huge on Twitter. This guy's inbox, I can't even imagine managing his. I can't manage my inbox, and I only have a couple hundred followers. Okay? This guy is he's target number one for the SJWs, okay? He is constantly getting inundated with infiltrators and people trying to scam him because they want to make him look bad. He has to protect himself. He's been burned over and over again. He's been burned by people in the industry that he's trusted. That's part of his reasons for being Comicsgate now. He doesn't know from Adam. All right? You seem like a good, honest person. Just trying to do something good. He gives you a shot. It doesn't seem to, the sapling, and doesn't seem to grow, whatever. He just moves on. He's got a lot of things that needs his attention. And you have a different perspective of it, which is fine. But your perspective kind of becomes drama. And I don't think that's necessarily your intention. I do honestly think your intentions are good. But you have to understand how people perceive. And it really looks like you're constantly making calls for attention. And you might say, well, Ash, I don't think that's right. That's not true. Whatever, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But I was just going through your Twitter. Okay, this is 20 hours ago. Fee, in one day. We're still in, okay, one day. Let me scroll. I'm still scrolling. This is all the tweets that you've made just in one day. Tweet, 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 tweet. And all of this, almost all of this at least, is Comicsgate drama. I'm about to throw my phone away at one point. Is that a Comicsgate? On the surface, I don't know. Yeah, it is. You see, I don't think you're being self-aware. I think you're being honest and earnest, and you know yourself, your intentions are good. So you're not taking the time to look at yourself because you don't need to. Right? I don't know if you understand my point on that. When people are of good intentions, they don't think to check themselves because why should they? They know they're telling the truth. They know they're being honest. They know they're not trying to malign someone. So why do they have to analyze themselves and see if they're doing it? They already know. That's where problems can happen, though, because you're not concerned. You're concerned about the reality. Everyone else doesn't see reality. They only can see what they perceive. And you're creating a picture that's not painting reality accurately. You're painting a picture that's like high drama, right? And most people, if I'm going to toot my own horn here, aren't going to be like me. They're not going to dig into it and want to give you the benefit of the doubt or anything like that. They're just going to... We've seen so much Twitter drama, so many SJWs. We've seen so many people come in before you, because this is another thing, you're kind of new. Before you, people coming in, being all pro-Comicsgate, da-da-da-da-da, and the whole time they were here, being like pro-Comicsgate, they were just digging up dirt. They were trying to get in with people and digging up dirt, and they were like screenshotting everything, and then they would be like, haha, revealed, I'm actually SJW, and look at all the dirt I dug up. And Comicsgate people are tired of this. They're also tired of just general backstabbing. You know, I don't know if you've heard of HP Collages. You know, she was working, and I know very little of the story, so I'm only going to say just a little bit of what I know. But allegedly, she was working with Richard Meyer in the early days to help him with some various things, and then ended up selling him out. Excuse me. Ended up selling him out to the SJWs, and now she's friends with Ren and Richard Pace, and so people get skeptical, right? Some people get cynical. You come in with an innocent view, and you don't understand all this jaded, you know, bitterness that some people have, which is fine. I mean, people shouldn't be bitter towards you. And to be absolutely fair, a lot of the treatment that's been happening to you is unfair. But this is where it gets down to something I'm more concerned about, and it's going to apply to anyone else that's viewing this video. Comicsgate is not a group, okay? It's not represented by the people that make it up, and the people that make it up don't represent Comicsgate. For instance, I'm sitting here making this video, dropping my pen, making noise, and I'm drinking a Coke. You may hate Coke. You might be a Pepsi person. But does that make Comicsgate a Coke thing now because I'm drinking Coke and I'm Comicsgate? No. Things that individuals do outside of the core tenets that the Comicsgate's founded around have nothing to do with anything. What I mean by that is if a Comicsgate person or supporter, as I like to try to say, if a Comicsgate supporter is a total asshole to you, it does not then translate that Comicsgate is assholes. That person is an asshole who happens to ascribe themselves to the Comicsgate views, which is kind of weird since part of it's about not being an asshole. But do you see what I'm saying? You aren't ascribing the actual problems to the individuals. You're blaming an entire swath of people. And that's exactly what the SJWs do. And I got to tell you, as a longtime comic skater, when I see the things that you're typing, if I'm like, if I didn't know that was Mindy typing that, I would just be like, this is a total SJW. That's how you're coming across. You're just blanketing us as being, you know, something that we're not. I'm certainly not. The other thing that gets me about what's going on with you and this whole thing is you never really, how do I say this? You never really presented yourself to Comicsgate. You came in, joined, went straight to the top, if I'm going to use, metaphors, with Ethan Van Sciver and joining all that crew. Like, you were just like, I'm going straight to the elite section where all the big boys play. And that's fine. You want to sell your comic. I don't begrudge any of this, okay? But I'm trying to point something out to you. Comicsgate, 99% of Comicsgate are people like me. People like this guy in your comments. They're just normal Joes, right? That are buyers of comics. They love comics. They're not comic book superstars. You never appealed. And sorry, let me make that because I could come across wrong. You never made an appeal to that crowd, from my perspective. You just sort of jumped in and was like, I want to be part of the captain's club. And the rest of us were just like, oh, okay, cool. I guess you're a comics creator, so go hang out with the comics creator crowd. But you went and joined a clique and then got upset that the clique was cliquey. Did you ever reach out to people like me? There's tons of small YouTubers, tons of just normal fans. No, I never saw that. I mean, you were nice, and when I commented to you on Twitter or whatever, you commented back nice, and I could see you're a good person. But you didn't do any of that. You were just, I'm up here with these guys, and then got upset when they were not up your expectations. So I got a problem with that. No, I don't. I don't really have a problem with that. I don't necessarily say, oh, Mindy, I feel spurned by you. That's not at all what I want to come across. But I have a problem with the viewpoint that you're coming across because you kind of created that for yourself. And Comicsgate is not at all what you're suggesting it is. And you ignored all the people that would prove that to you. There's tens of thousands, if not 100,000 or more people in Comicsgate. It's impossible to really know the number. But if Zach has got close to 1,000 or close to 100,000 subscribers, and not all of Comicsgate subscribes to Zach, I have to assume it's over 100,000 people. So, be that as it may, Comicsgate is the people, and you kind of ignored those people. And you took a very small sample size from a very select group and made a big judgment on it. And that was wrong. Then you went and now you're leaving Comicsgate. So you can't leave Comicsgate. Comicsgate didn't start because someone created a club and said, I'm going to call this club Comicsgate and I'm going to let people join it. Comicsgate started because people like you had an opinion about what was going on in the industry. And the industry turned around and said, you're a filthy Comicsgate. The label came from them. None of us said that that's the case. You're going to have that label. You can sit there and say, I'm not Comicsgate anymore. But unless you're just completely changing your tune, unless you're kind of betraying the cause, like some of the infiltrators have, you are Comicsgate. Do you think Renfamous is going to just be like, oh, Mindy says she doesn't have the, she's not claiming the tag anymore. But if you feel the same way, if you make the same judgments to them, you're the same thing. Now, in your efforts to quote-unquote leave Comicsgate, which you're really not doing, I still consider you part of Comicsgate, okay? I do. I mean that in terms of friendship, and I think in views of philosophy. I think you're Comicsgate. But I don't like this idea that you're, not only I think you're wrong that you're leaving, I think that's just a misconception. I don't like that there's this burning it to the ground as you leave. And that's something I do have a problem with, is on your way out, you're going to throw stones. And you're going to slur something that I take very seriously, something that means something to me, that I work towards, and I do my channel, and I'm just active on Twitter, and I'm just trying to be a loyal part of the community. I put up with insane amount of bullshit, I shouldn't have to tell you, in order to pursue this thing that I love and fight for it. When I see someone like you throwing stones at it and trying to trash it on your way out, you're sort of becoming the enemy. And I know that's not your intention. You're just angry and you're frustrated. But you're doing that. Don't become the enemy. Okay? If you're going to leave Comicsgate, which I've told you you can't do. Not really, if you understand what Comicsgate is. It's not a group to leave. Don't go out and start throwing stones and giving fuel to the SJWs, so that they can turn around and go, oh, look, there's another Comicsgater that is exposing everything that we've been telling the public that Comicsgate really is. Because it's not true. Individuals, yes, are that way. And I run across them. I was not blind when I went on Ethan's show. There's tons of a-holes that claim Comicsgate. But that's humanity. There's just a-holes in general. We didn't start Comicsgate, but Comicsgate started, and it was under good ideas, and none of those ideas have anything to do with being an asshole. And assholes like to they like to affix themselves to whatever. There's assholes at SJW side comics. There's SJWs, assholes on Comicsgate side. There's assholes on both sides of Gamergate. There's assholes that support Trump. There's assholes that are against Trump. Whatever side of any issue, of anything that you can think of, there's assholes on either side. When you start thinking this idea that that side is the assholes, not my side, that's when you start being an identitarian, and you're being a collectivist. It's not a place to go. And I'm going to wrap up with this last thing here, as I see you're forming your own thing here. Politics Destroying Escapism in Comics Entertainment with Mindy Wheeler. This is very telling to me. Why is this very telling? Because you are forming a group, an official group that's closed, that needs people to literally apply to be a part of. And who's the gatekeeper of that group? You. Comicsgate wasn't a group, though you falsely labeled it as. No one gate-kept you. You were free to be a part of it. And there was many people like myself that welcomed you and treated you nice. And you let some assholes ruin it for you. And I understand assholes can spoil things. Believe me, every one of us has faced this. That is sincere and honest like you are. We face it. But you formed your own closed group where you're the gatekeeper, where you can control things. Isn't this what you're complaining about? Isn't this what you're complaining about? That everyone has to listen to Ethan and it's his thing? You're just becoming Ethan. This is what this looks like to me. Well, Ethan in a smaller pond. If you'll excuse, that reference, that comparison. This looks bad. This is wrong. This is you being cliquish. This is you separating yourself. This is everything you're against kind of encompassing here. And you're going to put yourself in an echo chamber. This is what the SJWs do. I'm not calling you an SJW. I'm doing my best to be respectful. But I don't like some of the things you've done. And I think you need to be aware. And maybe what I'm saying isn't pleasant to hear. I don't know how you're going to take it. But I mean it sincerely, and I mean it respectfully. And I do still like you as a person, from what I know of you at least. I think you have good intentions. But I think you need some self-awareness here. Not because you're a bad person, but because you're causing a picture that people that don't know you are seeing. I don't think this is the picture you're wanting to paint. And I don't think you know what you're doing. I don't think you know you're causing that to happen, is what I'm trying to say. So, look, final thing I'm going to say is commenting about Comicsgate. You made it really clear one of your problems was you couldn't say anything, you couldn't be critical, whatever, people jump on you, whatever. I get that. But it's how you do it. Because if you, by chance, ever followed me, I'm critical of Comicsgate all the time. I call Comicsgaters out all the time. I went on Ethan's show and got blasted by hundreds of people. He had 2,000 people on that night. It was ridiculous. Just blasted by people who then came over to my YouTube channel, tried to troll me, came on Twitter, trolled me, and talked to me how shitty I was, and didn't, that it was just ugly behavior. I understand it, but I blast Comicsgate all the time. I keep them honest. I do my weekly posts on Monday saying what Comicsgate is all about, reminding people, setting myself up for anyone that disagrees to call me out. But pretty much they don't. Actually, I've been getting a lot of respect on that, a lot of retweeting, which I've been appreciative of. But you can do it if you do it in the right way. The way you're doing it comes across more like you're calling for attention. And because I think you care what the response is. The difference is when I do it, if someone responds back to me as an asshole, that just proves my point. I just let people hang themselves. There's been a few times where I caught myself I was wrong. I've had some people be very respectful and be like, Ash, dude, what are you doing? This is center. I was like, you know what? I was a little hot-headed. I didn't think about this as clearly as I thought I did, and you brought up some good points I didn't think of, and then I made a public apology, and it's not easy. And then they respected me more for it. I respected them, and I get to learn who the good people are in Comicsgate. And I get to learn who the trolls are, and I ignore the trolls. And I build my relationships up with the good people. And that's something, I think, at its heart, that you missed. You focused on the people that you didn't get along with, turn that into a big thing, like, oh, Comicsgate's this big problem, I'm out of here. You never once built relationships with good people that are like-minded and well-meaning and would have your back. And I think you need to rethink what you're doing. So I'm not going to say come back to Comicsgate because I don't think you really left. It's not a group that any way you can leave. You are Comicsgate. Reconsider this nonsense. And I'm open to a dialogue, Hopefully you watch this and you got something. Hopefully anyone who's not named Mindy Wheeler that watched this, I hope that, my comments are to you guys as well, too. But I'm speaking to her because she's the one that brought up these subjects. So it's kind of an open letter to Mindy about Comicsgate. So I hope some of you found this valuable. If you guys have anything you want to discuss with me back, you know where my comments are. You know where I am on Twitter. Ash1138 on Twitter. If you want to be a troll, I can't stop you if that's what you want to do with your life. So thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. Mindy, I hope you have a great day too. Feel free to always talk to me. You know, I'm on Twitter. I follow you. I think you follow me. And no hard feelings. Friends tell you what you should hear, not what you want to hear. That's always been my philosophy. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.